Hey fishers, it's been about 2 or 3 weeks since I've done a fishing report. Been away fishing, but that's no real excuse I suppose. But we've got a fair bit of action around us in some areas. Now we're in that transition period between the native fish slowing down and the trout starting to come on. Now that's pretty standard for this time of year. We've had some great early morning frosts and nice sunny days, and things are really starting to kick into gear on the trout scene and also on the lobsters, which we'll go into a little bit later. But at the moment we're getting a few good reports from Wagga. Local guide down there, Roger Miles, has had a fair bit of success over the last couple of weeks. The other day he was trolling with Lumo divers, picked up 18 cod. Now there's an indicator that the fish are in deep water. The Lumo diver is capable of 20-25 feet up to 30 feet depending on the depth you choose. It's a small profile lure and he's working the channels. The old cast or the new cast techniques and what have you aren't working all that well. They've certainly moved out of the shallows back into the deep water. So if you want to fish Mulwala, keep that one in mind because it is reasonably productive at the moment. Quite a few Murray crays and that getting caught up the top end of the lake, so it looks reasonably promising there. And the river that runs into Mulwala, the Murray, from Hume Weir down to Mulwala, producing a fair amount of crays too, so, and some legal size ones at that. So we're pretty happy with that at the moment. There's a bit of activity all around, as I say. Fair few redfin coming out of the Hume Weir, but a lot of them are very small, so it's probably not the hot spot at the moment. Murrumbidgee River and Old Man Creek around Wagga, producing a few cod, not many yellow belly. Surprisingly enough, more crays than we've seen early in the season. Most years we have a very slow start to the season, but this year it's been pretty good. The crays are sort of reasonable size, a lot of females with eggs, which is surprising as well. And anywhere around close to town seems to be okay. It doesn't seem to matter that much. Up as far as Wantabadgery is sort of reasonably productive. One of the big hits at the moment is the Compleat River. I don't know if you've noticed or not, but it's been low for about 2 weeks now. Fishing exceptionally well. Fly fishermen are having a great time up there at the moment. Most of them are using dry fly because you can get away with a dry fly when it's so shallow. But if you're fishing the deeper runs than that, put a beadhead nymph of some sort on. If you're going to put in a bit of effort up there and you're not a fly fisherman, just use a bit of power bait, drift power bait, put a worm out just drifting, no problem at all. Small lures like vibrax, little seltzers, anything of that nature, orgy little rippers, they'll all do the job all right. And while it's so shallow, even the CD3s and the rapalas will do the job nicely. You can access a huge amount of the Compleat River, certainly the place to be. Redfin at the Blowering Dam's quite good at the moment. We're getting some very good reports on good sized fish. Not heaps of them, but you've got to look pretty hard for them. The cod and yellowbelly have slowed down a bit up there. Not that they really fired up much this season, which was a little bit disappointing, but there's some nice redfin getting caught. Most of the reddies that are getting caught are well and truly edible size, so you know, take her home a feed without too much trouble at all. Talbingo hasn't been too bad. The old Ford fender and worm system up there seems to be working reasonably consistently. The big sort of system at the moment that's working well is Yukonbean, Jindabyne and Tentangara. Those three dams always seem to produce reasonably well, but at the moment they're really on fire. Yukonbean in particular is producing a lot of good trout, some really good sized fish. If you're going to fish up around the portal end, I'd suggest defenders and worms or cowbells and worms. Anywhere else in the lake, take your pick, rapalas, Tassies, anything of that nature. The jointed rapalas are doing quite nicely. Tentangara's been very consistent, some good quality fish out of there, and I heard of a 17 pound brown out of Jindabyne, or out of the Thredbo River to be honest with you. So a lot of big fish getting caught up in the streams up there as well. Don't forget that does close down on the June long weekend, and that's the stream fishing only. The dams are open all year round. Wangler, haven't had a lot of great reports from. Burrinjuck's been real hit and miss. A few good reports out of there and a lot of bad ones, so it's just a matter of where you fish it. Wagga end seems to be pretty consistent and getting some reasonable reports up behind Wade Island, up that wee Jasper Arm. Fair few yellow belly on the troll, so it's not too bad there. Burrendong, haven't got any decent reports from there. Windermere got a few reports of some big cod coming out of it, so it looks half promising. Down around the Dartmouth area and that, it's always reasonably consistent and they're getting a few trout out of it. The Middle River's fantastic, all the streams are good, so things look really great for the next couple of weeks. Just hope that the weather stays the way it is. A little bit of rain wouldn't hurt for the farmers, but at the moment it's good fishing weather.